In this video, I'll be showing you how I analyze my Forex charts and how I do my top-down analysis using TradingView. You can also use the same principles on your phone, tablet, or MT4 platform. So let's get into it. Welcome back to my channel again. It's your boy An808 here. If you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. I am a Forex trader. I drop useful content and material to help out struggling traders and help grow the community. So without wasting any of your time, let's get into it. For me, I personally do top-down analysis. I start from the weekly or monthly just to get the overall bias for the trend and see what's been happening for weeks or days. So this is USD CHF. I'm on the weekly time frame here. So what I do is I usually zoom out. I see where we're at, what the key level, at the support or resistance or anything. So as you can see, USD CHF has been in a bearish trend for weeks. So I mark out the key levels that it's broken through. This is a very important key level because once it touched this in 2018, it rejected, started a bullish trend. Once it touched this early this year, it started going up, then broke below it. So now we're below this key level. So once I do that, I go to the daily time frame. So when I'm on a daily, I zoom out just to see things clearly. I can see that we've been going down here, and it's formed more of a obvious trend per se. So I draw my trend lines there where it's finding support, and I also draw a trend line where it's finding resistance there, as you can see. At least a trend line where it's got more than 2 touches. So this is what I'm seeing here. Then I go to my H4 now because I want to look for an entry let's say if I did miss this trade. So as you can see on USD CHF, we've got it's finding resistance on this trend line, and it's been finding support on this trend line. And if we add more things, there was a level of support here that so this was going to be a good area for us to take a buy because it came here, it found support on this level plus the trend line. So that's more confluence. It was going to be a good entry for us to enter a buy here. So once I do that, I zoom out. So where are we going now? On this pair, since it's broken out of this trend line and it's retested it, so expecting a push up to break above this key level, then maybe we retest it, then continue up. But in trading, remember, we have to be reactive, not predictive. Yeah, if it starts coming down and goes back into this trend line, then this retest is invalid and we're still going bearish. But in my opinion, I think we're going to go bullish. Yeah. So let me just give another example. Maybe I was too quick on this one. So let me go to EURUSD. Remember, all the time when I'm analyzing pairs, it's better also, if we're looking at USD CHF, we also need to look at XX USD pairs where USD is on the right. Yeah. So let me go on EURUSD. Since I'm seeing a buy here, so I should be seeing a sell on EURUSD. So EURUSD, let's just go. So now we're on EURUSD here on the monthly time frame. We just want to get the overall bias first and see what's been happening. So when you zoom out, you see EURUSD has been bullish for 4 months now, but it's at a very critical level here. This level, we can mark it out with a line or a zone per se. Let's just use that. Okay, let's do this. Let's mark it out with this zone here. Yeah, because once it came here in 2017, it rejected, retraced, then broke above it, then now it went below. Now it's come back for a retest. So well, we drop down to the weekly. I only went to the monthly because I wasn't seeing it clearly on the weekly. So once you do that, you also zoom out just to see what's been happening, what levels it's broken above. I like to point out the key levels, prices where it spikes and rejects and goes the other way. So this is a very important level, so it broke above. You can draw it as a zone or a line, any whatever works for you. So once I see that, I now drop down to the daily. What am I seeing? The daily is like not the most important, but it shows more detailed. So on the daily, I'm also seeing, I draw zones or trend lines where it's finding support or resistance. So I'm seeing that trend line there. Then I'm also seeing that it's been moving nicely in that trend line. So if we're looking for buys, would have been buying here, buying here, buying here, buying there. But now price has rejected this zone. What else am I seeing? I'm also seeing a smaller zone here. You will see it properly on the H4, because I can say this was a stop hunt in my opinion. Yeah. So let's drop down to the H4 now. We look for what are we seeing here. This was going to be a good area for us to take a buy. Price went above this zone. You can draw it as a line or a zone. Anything. It broke above, then closed back in. So once price does this was going to be a good place to take a sell. So now at the level where it's finding support. So what can we expect here? Price can start retracing, come here, make a head, then make the right short, then drop, because that's a reversal pattern we're looking for. Or it can just decide to play around this area and break out of this zone and retest this zone. Like I said, trading will have to be reactive. We just react to what the market does. If it starts to make higher highs, then our sell setup is invalid. Then we start looking for buys, because it's continuing with the overall trend. But as you can see here, I'm anticipating euro to start dropping, but I could be wrong. So this is how I analyze my pairs, and this is what I'm seeing on Euro USD. There's been a trend line there where it's been finding support there. You can just mark this out. It helps at times. There. But once a trend line has been it becomes so obvious, it's likely to break. It may hold, but in most cases it breaks. So let me give another example. So let's go to gold. This is a very interesting pair. With gold, you have to be very careful with analyzing it. So with gold, we start weekly or monthly. But on the weekly we can't see much. It's always important when you're analyzing, you look left to see what happened in the past. So we don't see anything here, so we get on a higher time frame. So once we reach there, we can see that gold's all-time high in 2011 is at this level. So we put a line there. You can put a line or zone, but a line would be cleaner since we're on a higher time frame, and when we drop down, we don't want our charts to be messy. We can see that. So gold has been bullish for it's always been in a bullish trend since back in time, 1997. So but it don't always buy. You can cut some sales at times. So gold is above this all-time high. So we know that's at a critical level. So we drop down to the weekly just to see more price action. So you can see for 4 weeks it's been failing to close below this level. So that's a very important level, like I said. So am I seeing any trend line here? Let's see. Not really. But we can see there's a trend line there where it's finding support. Then we drop down to the daily. we drop down to the daily. So we just zoom out and see what kind of price action we're getting. When we zoom out, we mark out zones or areas where it was finding support or resistance. So what am I seeing here? On gold, ever since it broke above this level, it came back to retest it. I was expecting a push up, but since it's not dropping, it's just been making lower lows. So what am I seeing here? Is there a level? I don't see anything on the daily, so we can drop down to the H4. So with gold, you also mark out these important levels. Price came here, it rejected. Price came there, it rejected. These are very, very important key levels. These are what I call key levels. I'll do a video in the long run to explain how I take advantage of these. So what am I seeing there? On gold, there's this bearish triangle trend line it's making. It's finding support there, and it's been finding resistance there. So two things can happen here. Don't mind this trend line that we draw on the weekly. Let's just keep it clean. Yeah. So we might expect a push up, and once it closes above this and starts making high highs, then we'll continue bullish. Or if it closes below this level, then we continue looking for sales. But I'm seeing more sales on gold, but I could be wrong, there. Then we continue looking for sales. Trading is all about probabilities. Price will either go up or down, not sideways. So we just have to be patient. We wait for the market to show us the way, then we follow. We go with what we're seeing. So that's what I'm seeing on gold. There are not much levels there, clean levels, but we can say there was a zone there, and there's a key levels there. So let me give one last example on my favorite pair at the moment and how I managed to see the drop in NAS100. So for those who don't know much about NAS100, I'll drop a link in the description just so you know about it. So this is NAS100 US Tech, or US100 on other brokers. NAS100 has been a bullish trend for quite some time now, but price won't always go up. It might start to retrace or at least give a retracement. So on the weekly time frame, when you go on the weekly, you do top-down analysis. So on the weekly, what are we seeing? It's been bullish, and there's nothing on the left for us to see what happened at that area, because it's just been going bullish, and it's never reached this all-time high. So what we see there? What previous level did strong levels do we have? So there's this level where price broke above it. You can just put a line, this level here. So this is a very important level, because it found resistance there, then broke above it. So it might come to retest, then continue with the bullish trend, or close below it and start to retrace. So I just mark out that level, then I go to the daily. I go to the daily. So what am I seeing here? I usually like drawing trend lines on the daily. On the daily, we've had this trend line. This trend lines, you draw them where price is finding support. They can be in all shapes and designs, so long it makes sense to you. You can draw them however you feel like. You can draw it as a channel or just one side. Since this is a bullish trend, we're just concerned about where it's finding support. So we can draw it like that, but it won't be too clean like this because price has been breaking about it. So I'll just leave that. So once you zoom out and see that, it's been finding support on this level. So what else am I seeing? I also see this level here. It's a strong level here. It's a strong level there. Then we jump into the H4. The H4 and H1, this is where we look for entries and detailed things, So with Nasdaq, this is a strong level that I drew. It hasn't touched it yet. It might come back or not. So besides this big trend line that I drew on the weekly, there's also another trend line I was seeing here. That's how I managed to see the sell. There was this trend line that I was seeing here. There's this trend line that I was seeing here. Price was finding support at this level. It was actually a channel. It's very easy, you draw that channel, because price came here, dropped a bit, price was here. So this is what I'm seeing. This is what I was seeing, sorry. So you see that, then you mark out now important levels. There's this level here, there's this level here, there's this level here. Just try and keep the charts as clean as possible. So what am I seeing here? So with Nasdaq, this might have just been a retracement or a start of a new bearish trend. So what can we expect? There are two things that can happen here. Price can go to that level again, reject, then continue dropping, or it can drop down this level, test it again, because here there's support, there's a trend line and there's support. Test it, then continue bullish. We'll just have to wait and see. So how did I see the drop before it happened? Let me show you how that happened. So I dropped down to the 1 hour. So there was this level here. It's not the cleanest, but when you zoom in, price made this huge drop. Then after I saw this drop, I knew price would start retracing. Then I used my Fibonacci tool there. You see, there. Then once I saw price is starting to make lower lows, then and it was starting to reject the 78.6 key level, and there was a resistance there. I took a sell there, then I held it down up to here. I'm still holding the sell. I'll show the clip of the chart on the other side. So we're actually coming to the end of the video. Remember, this video is just to show you how I analyze my Forex chart pairs, and there are many ways that you can do this. Others use indicators, EMAs. I do use them at times too, but I prefer to stick to price action. Just in conclusion, just a recap of what I talked about. For me, I do top-down analysis. I usually start from a higher time frame, either weekly, monthly, or daily, just to see the overall bias. But I start drawing my trend lines on the daily and H4. And for entries, I go to H4, H1, sometimes M15 if I want precise entries. But usually I stick to H4 and H1. So it's always important not to just analyze on one time frame, 1 hour. I see a lot of traders saying, what's the best time frame for me to trade? There's actually no best time frame, but you need at least a combination of 3 to 4, for you to get the overall bias of what's happening. If you want, I've seen people that use M1, M5, M15, and I've seen people that use M30, H1 and H4, and I've seen traders that use monthly, weekly and daily, just these 3, so at least use 3 or more, not one or two. No, that's not, I wouldn't recommend that. But if it's working for you, well and good. But most professional traders I know that they do top-down analysis. So once you get the overall bias from your monthly, weekly, or daily. You know, if you're a swing trader or scalper, at least you know what you're looking for, you know. So imagine like if you had seen that EURUSD, as this was just a retracement, you'd have just been looking for buys, and once it broke above this key level, you just continue buying, you know, because you remember these levels are strong levels. So once it breaks them, it's likely to come back. You just continue. Even if you're a scalp, at least you know on the weekly that we've broken above a support or a key level. You know what you'll be looking for. So that's the importance of knowing things on a higher time frame. So we've come to the end of this video. Please make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment on the next videos you'd like me to drop, and don't forget to check out my other videos up there. So it's your boy 808 here. I'll see you on the next one. Ciao.